Hey, what's going on, JJ Crew? We finally reached the end of the first week of the PTU testing for engineering. My experience in engineering has been in the Perseus for multi-crew PvE and a handful of light fighters for mostly PvP. My understanding is that CIG wants engineering to extend the life of a ship past what it would currently be capable of in the current 4.4 patch, with the use of repairs. I'm going to look at three aspects of engineering: weapon tuning, armor penetration, and component damage, and see if I think they reach that goal, or what improvements they can make to achieve it. Weapon tuning has been all over the place lately, with the Wave 1 PTU opening up with drastic weapon balance changes that emphasize weapon sizes, cannons versus repeaters, and ballistic versus energy weapons. This definitely shook up the meta for the few days it was implemented, but it was clearly not fully developed, with many bespoke weapons not even receiving balance changes. I also don't fully agree with the changes that were made, as the increased velocity for all weapons just made the game more aim dependent. The reduced ranges increased kiting advantage, as you could extend out of the effective range of repeaters, and in terms of meta, the increased armor depletion from lasers and increased range and velocity of cannons meant that the Omni weapons simply outclassed every other weapon in the game. It could melt through the armor and destroy components after just a few bursts, negating the need for ballistic penetration. I still think the best solution for weapon balance is for pilot weapons to top out at 1600 meters per second, which would decrease the effective range without the need for actually lowering the ranges, as the shots would be easier to avoid and make the game less aim dependent. Turrets should still get a bonus in terms of velocity, as they need to be able to make up for their lack of ability to neutralize the target, which makes aiming a lot easier in a fighter. I do hope they still plan on implementing weapon balance changes, but I'm glad they didn't keep the weapon tunings from the start of the PTU. In my opinion, they felt very half-baked and not that well thought out. Looking at armor, my expectations for the implementation of armor was that it would work similar to a damage threshold system, similar to D&D, where if you didn't meet or exceed the damage threshold, you either applied reduced damage or no damage at all. I was not expecting it to have two health pools in terms of hull and armor. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem that the armor rating affects your ability to damage the hull, but only to damage components. Currently, ships can still be destroyed by only focusing on depleting the hull HP of a vital part. I double checked this morning by destroying a Perseus with my Gladius and only hitting the back portion of the ship. Once the vital part was destroyed, it put the power plants into a critical state, destroying the Perseus. If the armor does have the ability to reduce hull damage, then I suppose I don't mind this as much, as the tuning values can still be adjusted, but if not, then it feels a little redundant. I'd rather it worked where you could cripple ship systems and components to disable a ship, but if you truly wanted to destroy the ship, then you had to target the power plants, at least for the player ships. I do at least appreciate that Gladius can still engage with larger targets. I've seen a lot of comments stating that they wanted large ships like the Perseus to essentially be invulnerable to smaller fighters like a Gladius. The issue with that is you end up separating the sandbox, and it makes for a lot less engaging gameplay if you just become invulnerable to half the ships in the game. I do hope that they continue to tune the armor system to incentivize using larger ships to soften up targets for the smaller fighters, rather than just being able to destroy everyone you come across in a small group of fighters. Now, survivability is largely determined by component health and performance. This is where I've seen the biggest impacts in terms of PvP, and the ability to take multiple fights in a row before needing to reset my ship. I also think this is where a lot of work needs to be done to bring single-seat fighters closer to terms with the multi-crew ships. While with multi-crew ships you can have a dedicated engineer repairing or swapping components in the middle of a fight, the single-ship fighters really can't perform any effective repairs during an encounter. You do have the ability to repair components from the cockpit to 20% health, but the repair time is far longer than any actual duel would take place. It would be more appropriate if it was either an instant 20% repair or something quick like a 5-second delay. Then you could let the pilot decide if they wanted to repair the component during or after a fight. Radar performance is also super important in a fight, and it currently feels like the most unreliable component during a dogfight. There's simply not enough component health for the radar, and it doesn't help that there's a bug where the radar can stop functioning as well, at least in Arena Commander. With the current balance, you'll probably need to repair components to full functionality after each encounter against a competent pilot, which is not too dissimilar from fighting an AC before, but there were at least fights prior to engineering where you can blue ship opponents and continue back-to-back fights before getting down. Now with component performance tied to component health, single-seat fighters won't be able to stay in the fight nearly as long before needing to drop out for repairs, whereas a multi-crew ship can stay in the fight while repairing. So in terms of single-seaters, I don't think you can really have extended functionality over ships from 4.4 standards without some additional repair options. I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing either. So far I'd say that I really like engineering as a whole, but there are definitely improvements that should be made before this patch is pushed to live. Hopefully CIG has enough time before the holidays to iron things out while also fixing performance issues and crashing. I think I crashed 4 times last night while testing AC on the PTU. What do you all think of engineering so far? What were your expectations going into the patch, and where would you like to see improvements? I don't generally do a lot of opinion pieces, but I hope this feedback was at least valuable to someone. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Later! Mm-hmm. You lie! You lie! Ooh. I guess it's disabled. Oh, I lost my radar. Fuck. There we go. Nice. The fuck? The radar go down? Yeah, lost radar. Fuck. Wait, what happened? No? Oh, he's got the wolf. Nice. Dude, what the fuck? Yeah, there we go. Gonna pass again? So he's shooting? Yeah, okay. Ooh, that's not good. Need adjust my headset. Oh, thank God. Alright, what do we got? 68 for a okay. Comfort air. Alright. Nothing too crazy. Mish. Whoop. Shields down again. 40%, 18% in the snow blind. Okay. Ooh, that was good. Roman. Okay. Jeez, why is the pip so unstable? Oh, my shield's no. What is that? Quantum drive? I guess I got him. This is interesting. Come on, dude. Nope. God damn. So I hit my cooldown and then I couldn't fire after that. There we go. What's that? Is that a wolf? No, that's Gladius. God damn it, dude. The fuck? Did I lose my guns? Oh, I did. I lost my guns. Okay, that was weird.